Have you ever found yourself caught off guard, unprepared for the harsh realities that women can bring into our lives? It is a bitter truth that certain men find out about these female behaviors way too late, often after heartbreak, frustration, or missed opportunities. Now, in this video, I want to warn you, I want to let you know the 6 harsh truths about women that you should know as a man. Truth number 1, you're either gonna be in the attractive zone for her or in the pity zone, and usually nowhere in between. This can be really confusing. A lot of girls tell us they want a nice guy, they want a gentleman, but in a very gentle way of the meaning of the word, not the man way. They want a guy who always buys her flowers. They want a guy who is vulnerable, who can be really open about their emotions. The reality is you can't, and you should not. If you feel really, really down, you should tell your therapist about it. You should tell your masculine male tribe, your friends, about it. You shouldn't cry in front of a woman ever, basically. It's a bit similar like her sexuality, right? Like often the female sexuality is way more colorful and multi-dynamic than we think, and us men can that often hit very hard when she opens up about all her fantasies. So a lot of women know that and they hold back because it triggers the men, it triggers most men.
Happy or sad?
Sad.
Just as much as it triggers pretty much every woman if you as a man are very vulnerable, basically to the point where you cry. This is especially true if it's a consistent pattern for you. I mean, if you're constantly nagging and complaining and they're worried about stuff, there's something wrong with your life anyway and you should fix it, but it's definitely not your woman's job to deal with it on a regular basis. Of course, we all have bad days sometimes. Of course, we can be tired, we can, feel vulnerable and we just had a shit day or whatever happened, and it is her job to give us support. But if it's a consistent thing, you're gonna lose the attraction she had for you really fast, and you're gonna land in the pity zone. You could also say friend zone. So what does that mean in the early phase of man meets a woman? Basically, you want to make sure to not land in the friend zone. And as I mentioned, you cannot really be between the attraction zone and the friend zone. So how can we land in the attraction zone as fast as possible? By polarizing. We want to lead with our intention. We want to make clear why we talk to her, right? We don't want to ask for direction or just act like a friend, when really what we want is her. We are attracted to her. We think she's a beautiful woman. We are seeing ourselves as a masculine man who could take her on a date and eventually have sex with her. So we want to show that with our eye contact, with the way we ask questions, with the way we escalate, and in general with the way we present ourselves, obviously in a respectful way. This gets increasingly hard if you have nice guy tendencies. If you always think you're bothering woman, you don't want to, talk too much to her, you don't want to stop her on the street because she might be busy. Oh, she's on the phone, better not talk to her right now. Let's first be really nice. Let's, not talk about touchy topics and so on, to not bother her, to not show that we're disrespectful. All that stuff might, in your head, sound logical to you or seems respectful to you or seems like that's what a nice guy does. But the problem is nice guys are landing in the pity zone. They're landing in the friend zone for exactly that reason. You have to be a bit harsh. You have to be a little bit forcing things, a little bit disrespectful, at least from your point of view, because the reality is this will show her that you have intention, that you go for what you want, and ultimately that creates attraction and not the nice guy behaviors. The second harsh reality is hustle versus love. Especially these days on the YouTube landscape, we see a lot of guys arguing that you should not waste any time with women, especially in your 20s. You should work on your craft, you should work on your career, you should work on your business, you should work on your income, you should bring it to a certain level, 10K per month, 20K per month, 50K per month, whatever the number is. And then once you build yourself as a businessman and ideally build yourself strongly in a physique way, you have muscles, you look good, then you can reward yourself with indulging in women. I think that's a bit backwards, because the reality is, and you watching this, you know this, we crave women, we crave intimacy, we crave touch, we crave the female essence, and we crave that form of energy in our life. Going too long without it doesn't mean we're focused, it doesn't mean we're, in monk mode. It doesn't mean we're more productive because we're not distracted by women. It just means we feel lonely and shitty and depressed, and we're in really bad cycles. So at the end of the day, you have to figure out how to talk to women. There's no option. You have to learn how to manifest female energy into your life. And for some, it comes more natural than others. For some, they grow up in, a community, or they grow up with certain skills or certain mentors, and others just don't. And if you're one of the guys who just doesn't have it, like some women say, which is bullshit, then you have to get it. And you get it by practicing. You get it by being around women, by approaching women, by going for it, by sitting in the pressure longer than you feel comfortable right now. You can do that in 10 years, you can do that in 20 years, but trust me, you will regret it. I'm talking to so many guys every week in their 40s, 50s, sometimes 60s, who would pay everything they have, every dollar, to just be younger and become more social earlier. So if you're, if that resonates with you, start approaching tomorrow, start being more social, start putting on the identity of a more open guy socially, and get out of the introvert shell. That can be hard, and it often takes a mentor to get out of it, which, I can be. If you want to book a call, click below. And this can be hard, I understand. I personally would not have figured it out without a mentor. If you want me and my team to mentor you through that process of manifesting beautiful women into your life and going on dates, you can book a call below. But the fact is, there is no long hustle stretch, and then at the end of the time you can, finally have a girlfriend or multiple lovers or casual sex, God forbid. It comes in waves, okay? Yes, there's phases of 1, 2, 3 months where you should put your head down and maybe not have sex and not indulge and not go out and really work on your business. But in my opinion and in my experience and talking to a lot of guys, and especially talking to a lot of very successful guys, they didn't do 2, 3, 4, 5 years by themselves building their business. They had fun on the side. They took the weekend off. They had 1 girlfriend, 2 girlfriends. They had lovers. They fucked around a little bit, right? So really, ultimately, you need that female part in your life in order to even be motivated enough to do good work, because you will see, damn, I like this girl, I want to provide for her, or I didn't like this girl, I want a better girl. How can I get a better girl? Okay, by working on this, and so on. So it is a deep human need, and no amount of hustle or video game points or working out and pumping in the gym will ever cover up this deeply ingrained need for female touch and emotion. Harsh reality number 3. Women need to be harsh in dating. They need to be cruel, ruthless even. Why? Because it's supply and demand. It's standard market forces. It's how things work. The more beautiful and desired and in her prime age a lady is, the more offers she has. It's basically a pyramid, and she's on the top of it, and everybody under that pyramid wants her attention. And the higher up she is, the more guys want her attention. And it's literally an exponential curve. What is she gonna do? Is she gonna talk to every guy who wants to potentially have sex with her, who stops her on the street, who texts her on Instagram, who swipes super likes her on Tinder, who, approaches her and offers her a drink in a bar? No, she can't. It's literally impossible. You have to put yourself in the shoes of a woman like that and understand she's not being a bitch or spoiled brat or anything like that by rejecting offers, sometimes harshly, sometimes very quickly, from guys, because simply she only has that much attention, and she knows what she wants, and she knows what she can get. And what she can get is a certain level of guy, and she's obviously also aware that her beauty will fade, her prime will be over in a couple of years, and she needs to lock in some guy who is clicking and checking certain boxes, okay? And she has a very good intuition, and she has a very fast way of assessing a guy, and therefore she also knows how to reject a guy really fast, to not waste her time and not waste his time, And that's okay. That's in her power, and it's nothing personal. It's just what she has to do to operate in the dating market. Number 4, choosing the right guy. Now, another harsh reality is that often the guy an attractive girl ends up with is not necessarily the favorite guy of her, not necessarily the one she was most attracted to or she wanted the most. Often it is just a guy who put in the most effort, which is great news for us average looking guys, us shorter guys, us, not perfect cheekbones and perfect hair kind of guys. We can outwork the competition, and it's, way more true for the males than for the females. Beauty does play a huge role on the female side and a little bit less so on the male side, or much less, to be honest. That means you have to put in effort. You have to be, by effort, I don't mean text her every day. I don't mean show off with your new pimped BMW. I mean by working on your charisma, by showing up, by creating social circles that you can invite her to, by having good style, being creative on a date, by being creative with texting, by helping her a certain way, not in a needy friend zone way, but like being attentive and solving a problem for her in a masculine way. Then you can show up over and over, ask her out, right? Make it happen, and that way she will end up with you. That's a reality, take it or leave it, but definitely the fact is it's not a linear thing that the most beautiful girl will be with the most beautiful guy, and one step under, one step under, one step under. You can outwork the other guys, and whoever puts in more effort at the end of the day will get rewarded. Number 5, making a move. Now, it is no secret that the guy needs to make a move. It's our job, right? Here and there's women who approach guys. It just doesn't happen very often. Sometimes a girl goes for the kiss. Often not the most attractive one, right? Reality is, you're the man and it's your job to take action. That means you see the girl, you approach her. That means you talk to the girl, you take her number. That means you ask her out for a date, you plan the date. That means you go from one location to the other. You suggest where to sit, where to go, when to move, maybe what to order, when to go home, where to go, how to go, where to sit, and so on. When to go to the bedroom, what to do there, right? It is your job to move things from A to B to C and so on. That's good. Again, more power that we have. Complainers like to give power away by complaining, by, blaming other people. So take ownership. But that's not my point. When it's about making the move, sometimes we have to let the woman make the move. So the very first move is our job. But then it is the reality that girls don't want to be chased all the time. It is a huge turnoff if a guy comes off as needy. So there's a fine balance between taking leadership and being too invested, being needy, being dependent on her attention. So as soon as you get something, obviously it's a bit of a vague advice because it's different from situation to situation, but you definitely want to be more on the conservative side. So as soon as you get something, so let's say you went out on a date and you made out and things are great, good vibes, and you say goodbye, you don't want to instantly text her, right? You don't want to say, good night, I hope you came home well, I had a beautiful night with you, I hope to see you again soon, how about Tuesday, let's have brunch, da-da-da-da-da. No, you will wait. You will wait for a day, maybe 2. You need her to come to you for a little bit because she also wants to get invested into you. She also wants to seduce you. She also wants to feel like she's doing some of the work, and she actually wants to fight for you. She wants to know and understand that you are a guy worth fighting for. That's where this whole energy comes in. If you're the guy doing all the work all the time and always follow up and you're always available, it just seems like you don't have a lot of options, and that makes her subconsciously very suspicious. She doesn't really realize it thinking about it, but it's just like instantly her alarm bells go off and it's like, why is this guy always available? Why is he constantly texting me? Why do I get a response within a few minutes? Why is he always writing more than me? He must be really bored and he must have no other women around. So why should I be the one, providing for him all my female energy if he's craving it so much? It's not a good deal for her anymore. So how do we solve that problem for ourselves as men if we fall into needy behaviors? First of all, discipline. And second of all, talk to more girls. If you have more women in your life, it will be way easier to not focus all your attention on one. Harsh truth number 6 is the female attitude. Some dudes brush it off as a shit test, but really it is a woman's job to test you and tease you and nag you a little bit. And I know, it can be super annoying. Why is she constantly testing your masculinity, you as a man, right? It is triggering. It can be so triggering that a lot of guys quit women forever. They go into the man going their own way movement. They are making up all sorts of theories how, the society has changed and culture and women are not the same anymore and it's all done and da-da-da. It's like, the reality is you're just not taking enough ownership, right? Sure, there are some girls, they can't be helped. They're just too annoying. They're in their bubble. They're arrogant. They're entitled. But guess what? They will get a reality check sooner or later. Or not. Maybe some people will put up with it. Maybe some men are not strong enough or not taking enough ownership and let a lot of women get away with it. So really what you have to do, again, is take responsibility and just build yourself as a man. Build your confidence. Know exactly what you want. Be a man about it, but be gentle about it as well. The real meaning of being a gentleman, right? But first of all, you just have to accept that women will test you no matter how rich you are, no matter how well you her, no matter how powerful you are, no matter how smart you are especially. It is her job to test you over and over and over and over again. And it will never stop. And what you can do about it is either get triggered every time or be grateful, be thankful. Thankful for the opportunity that she gives you to prove yourself as a man, to, consider you as her king, as her man, and prove to her that, yeah, you are worth of her female attention, of her femininity, and that what she gives you is definitely worth all of that. That you have to be clear, right? But you definitely have to zoom out a bit and not get so frustrated and triggered all the time. And maybe you have to go on a little bit of a journey yourself. It's a little bit of topic for a different video, but the reality is you should know your triggers before you get so triggered by a girl. Or saying it differently, if you get triggered repeatedly by a woman that you're in a relationship with, then maybe you have certain traumas that she just really knows how to dig into. And it's again your job to find that out and to resolve that. Fact is, she will test you. She has to do it. It's a little bit in line with she needs to know who you are and she needs to know her position in the dating market and if she's still getting a good deal. And it will always be like that. Okay, the most important thing through all of this is that you will choose your partner out of choice and not out of scarcity, right? You don't want to be in a position ever as a man where you are in a relationship and you are feeling triggered all the time. You feel like it's not worth it and she's not giving you what you desire and request and expect from a woman in your life, but you're still not breaking up because you're so afraid of losing her, because if you're breaking up for real, maybe you broke up before but you still text her, you broke up but after a week you fuck again, but really let go. You're so afraid of that because you know that you don't have anyone else, and even worse, you don't know how to get anyone else. The most important thing of all of this is you know and you learn and you study how to manifest women into your life. And I suggest starting with cold approach, with being more social in general, not relying on algorithms and texting scripts and kind of like the get rich quick equivalent in dating, right? It doesn't work. It can get you a little push here and there. The newest trick can get you 100 matches, but how often did it really last? And how often did it really lead to a long-lasting, giving, sexy relationship or anything other pleasurable? So think about that. Again, we have an offer of a free consultation call. Click the link below to jump on that. I'm doing about 2 calls per day because, they take time and I want to really give value. Other than that, thanks for watching. Comment below. It's appreciated. I read them all and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.